American coasters are arguably the best in the world, but there is one thing that other parts of the world can claim over America: theming. Sure, we have Disney and Universal, so we can enjoy some elite themed coaster in Orlando and Southern California, but theming isn't really our thing. Give us a 325-foot parking lot coaster any day and we're happy. But there are exceptions out there, and today I want to point them out. Disney and Universal aside, these are America's 15 best themed coasters. First, I want to thank both CoasterSloth and LilCloutVevo for this video idea. There are some coasters that are more dark ride than coaster, and they are built around their theme. They barely move, but they tell a story. This is Black Diamond at Knoebels, themed to the haunted coal mines of Pennsylvania. Blazing Fury at Dollywood is themed to a town on fire and trying to escape. Fire in the Hole at Silver Dollar City is themed to a town in the Ozarks, with saboteurs setting the town on fire and trying to escape over a fiery bridge. And no, this coaster is not actually themed to Taco Bell. The Underground at Adventureland is themed to an old mine, haunted by the ghost of the bandit, Bad Bob. Finally, Wonder Mountain's Guardian at Canada's Wonderland is a shooting dark ride coaster, themed around King Addleston's battle with a fire-breathing dragon inside Wonder Mountain. These all have good theming, but for this video, I'm looking for a real coaster that mixes in theming. These are really coasters in name only. I also have some honorable mentions. Journey to Atlantis at SeaWorld Orlando has some good theming at the beginning, taking you through the sunken city of Atlantis. Exterminator at Kennywood is an indoor spinning wild mouse, and it has some good Exterminator theming at the beginning, but it pretty much goes dark by the end. Jaguar at Knott's has an elaborate queue line, as you enter a temple full of Mayan and Aztec drawings and artifacts, but there isn't much in-ride theming till the final breaks. Orion at Kings Island has a good backstory. Earth is being pelted by a meteor storm, and its riders are being sent on a test mission to get to a new planet in the Orion constellation. It has some good theming in Area 72, and a building full of props at the end of the queue, but not much else. Finally, Apocalypse at Magic Mountain has a post-apocalyptic theme, and that's really easy for Six Flags. They just put all their old equipment in the queue and call it theming. The outdoor and indoor queue has some good theming, just not good enough for this list. Number 15, Firechaser Express at Dollywood. In 2014, Dollywood added a major family coaster from Gerstlauer, themed to the firefighters of the Smoky Mountains. You enter Fire Station 7, led by Fire Chief Pete Embers. The chief has a problem: Crazy Charlie Cherrybomb, a fireworks enthusiast. As a rider, you are acting as Chief Embers' deputy to keep an eye on Cherrybomb and his Big Bertha firecracker, the biggest piece of TNT anyone in the town has ever seen. Near the end of the ride, the train enters Cherrybomb's gasoline and fireworks emporium, where Big Bertha is activated, points right at the train, and then proceeds to launch backwards into the ride's final section before backing into the station. Number 14, Dark Knight at Six Flags Great Adventure and Great America. When the Dark Knight movie was set for release in 2008, it was going to be huge. Six Flags capitalized on this, and built 3 Dark Knight coasters for that year. One for Great Adventure, one for Great America, and one for New England. But that got held up in red tape, and ended up opening in Mexico the next year. This could have been better, but for Six Flags it wasn't bad. These are indoor Mock Rides Wild Mouse coasters, a tour through Gotham City and being stalked by the Joker. Most of the in-ride theming is just writing and images on the walls. When you approach the ride, you enter the Gotham City rail system. The pre-show in the queue features a news conference from Harvey Dent, and that gets hijacked by the Joker. Before you enter the station, you pass by a screen that shows everyone approaching the queue, and those in front have Joker masks over their face. Number 13, Superman Escape from Krypton at Six Flags Magic Mountain. It's weird to say, but here we have another Six Flags coaster. This Intamin reverse freefall coaster has a very appropriate theme, as you climb to the top of the mountain and see the ride's icy entrance. This is Superman's Fortress of Solitude. The queue is themed to a cave of ice, and the station is themed as Krypton. The ride launches you out of there at 100 miles per hour, hence the escape from Krypton. Not overly complicated, but effective. Number 12, Mystic Timbers at Kings Island. Like Orion, this has a whole backstory, but this one does it better. The Miami River Lumber Company bought up a lot of wooded land in Rivertown, but in doing so, they unleashed a mysterious force, and Rivertown started to be overrun by vines. You enter the ride through the Miami River Lumber Company's sign, board the train that looks like an old pickup truck, and there's on-ride audio going up the lift, telling you to take your truck and go home. But whatever you do, don't go in the shed. The ride on this GCI wind coaster adds to the theme, as it feels like you're darting through the woods, and at the end, the ride enters the shed. Once you're in there, you're confronted by a monster. Number 11, Batman the ride at various Six Flags parks. When you approach the ride, you see the beautiful side of Gotham City Park, but the deeper you get in the queue, the darker it gets. You enter the crime-riddled side of Gotham City. You see a police car with bullet holes, and you enter a storm drain that takes you upstairs to the station. The station is the Batcave, and this is where you board the train. You emerge from the Batcave on this B&M invert, and go through your super intense 5-inversion ride. There isn't any theming on the ride itself, but the queue and the station make up for it. Number 10. Wicked Cyclone at Six Flags New England. This is an RMC conversion of a coaster called Cyclone, so its theme was an easy call. The queue is littered with remnants of a wicked storm, with vehicles and equipment with the acronym CHASE, Cyclone Hunters and Storm Enthusiasts. There is a sign that warns, Cyclone, Category 6, wind speed 200 miles per hour plus. This includes a van and a boat, and once you get into the station, the walls are covered with newspaper articles talking about a massive storm. Just to add to the theme, the ride itself fits. The wild, out-of-control, twisted mess of track falls right in line with the Cyclone theme. Number 9. Dr. Diabolical's Cliffhanger at Six Flags Fiesta, Texas. You don't often find a full pre-show at a non-Disney or Universal park, but this new for 22 B&M dive has an extensive one. It uses the popular steampunk theme and features Dr. Diabolical, luring passengers in with the promise of an elixir from the Fountain of Youth. But in reality, she invented a machine that will harvest your adrenaline and fear, and she will use that to nourish her evil creatures that will terrorize the world. The machine is the Cliffhanger. After the pre-show, the theme continues with the on-ride audio. Right before the first drop, you hear Dr. Diabolical tell you to scream. She says the fear gives her life.
Scream in terror. I need it! Your fear gives me life!
And right before the drop off the mid-course, she comes back on, asking for more screaming.
That's not enough! Not nearly enough! Scream! Louder! Scream!
It's an interesting story, and pretty well executed for Six Flags. Number 8. Flight of Fear at Kings Island and Kings Dominion. This Premier Rides launch coaster always had a sci-fi space theme, going back to when it was the Outer Limits back in the 90s. Now it's more generic, located in a hangar with the sign, Bureau of Paranormal Activity, Department 47. Once inside, you see a giant UFO that apparently crash-landed near the park and brought into this hangar. Once in the station, there are tubes with wrapped-up mannequins inside as supposed aliens. This is where the train launches out into the indoor twisted course, with 4 pitch-dark inversions. Number 7. Poltergeist at Six Flags Fiesta, Texas. As you walk up to this Premier Rides launch coaster, you enter a cemetery on the way to Bartholomew Mansion. You enter the well-themed haunted house, and once you're in there, it's easy to forget you're still in the ride's queue. It leads seamlessly into the station, also themed as a room in the haunted house. And from that dark room, you're launched out, right into the Spaghetti Bowl course. This ride got a major overhaul over the last 2 years. Before that, there was basically no theming, especially in the station, but the park made a very nice effort to enhance its theme and the ride experience. Number 6. Copperhead Strike at Carowinds. The Mock Rides launch coaster opened in 2019 in a brand new area of the park, Blue Ridge Junction. Its theme is very odd. You basically enter the ride's queue, which is Bird Farm. This is where Granny Bird makes her prize-winning jam. The queue is scattered with theming to immerse you into this fictional farm. You board your car-themed trains, go into a JoJo roll, and enter Granny's shed. This is where you find it's not just jam she's making. She's also got a moonshine operation. And when Granny comes after you, the train launches out of the shed and into the long ride full of inversions, hang time, and ejector airtime. Number 5. Time Traveler at Silver Dollar City. Steampunk does it again for this mock extreme spinning coaster. Charles and Emmeline Henry, a father-daughter tandem, created a time-traveling device and set out to use it to make the world a better place. Their motto is dream big and do good, a line you hear at the end of the ride on the on-ride audio. As you walk to the ride, there is a banner inviting you to take part in a time travel experiment. The queue house has 3 stories, the second story having the most theming, with clocks hanging from the ceiling, as well as a story of Charles Henry and his mission. The station is on the 3rd floor and has moving gears on the roof. This is where you board the time travel machine, equipped with gadgets and lights, and then you drop 90 feet out of the station and twisting through over 3,000 feet of track, all while spinning. Number 4. Backlot Stunt Coaster at various Cedar Fair parks. This Premier Rides launch coaster dates back to the Paramount days, then known as Italian Job Stunt Track and themed to the 2003 movie. After Cedar Fair took over, it took on a generic theme. Riders board their Mini Cooper-style trains and launch into an upward helix, located in a shell of a parking garage. The train dives down into a street section, passing highway signs and police cars, then goes down the subway stairs and then stops before a tunnel. A helicopter shoots at the train, a fireball erupts, and the train dives into the tunnel, into an indoor section of the ride, and then bursts through a billboard and into the LA aqueduct before the ride ends. This is one ride where the queue is unthemed, but the ride itself is themed from start to finish. Number 3. Mystery Mine at Dollywood. This Gerstlauer Eurofighter is encased in a menacing building themed as an abandoned mineshaft. When you get close to the ride, you see signs of danger. Do not enter, alongside a wisecracking condor. Inside the queue, there are signs condemning the mineshaft, and you climb the staircase into the station. The ride drops into a dark section with crows and a rock crusher you have to avoid. The ride features 2 vertical lift hills up the shaft, the last one featuring a screen at the top showing a thunderstorm outside. Before the train makes its final drop, a fireball shows a mound of dynamite and a lit fuse. Then the train enters its great finale, a 95-degree drop and 2 inversions. Number 2. Laff Trakk at Hershey Park. We talked about Dark Knight earlier, and this is very similar, just done much better. This is a Maurer indoor spinning coaster, the entire thing themed to a funhouse. Once you enter the building, you're greeted with crazy funhouse mirrors. The station backdrop shows Laughing Sal's House of Fun, and the 4-person cars are loaded up and enter the main building. This layout is full of props and visuals on the walls, completely dark except for what the park wants you to see. That's why this is considered a glow coaster. It's a very basic Maurer spinner model, but the theming adds so much more to the ride. Number 1. Verbolten at Busch Gardens Williamsburg. It's hard to believe this is the only SeaWorld coaster that made the list, but Verbolten makes the cut and slides in all the way at the top. This is well themed from start to finish. You enter the queue themed to a German motor tours agency, with the station themed to a garage, the trains themed to roadsters. It's supposed to be a leisurely ride on the German Autobahn, but lightning hits your car and you accelerate into the Black Forest, or the Forbidden Forest. This is the indoor section of the ride, a wild experience that's mostly dark, but has some parts of its theming illuminated, and riders are treated to one of 3 storylines: being attacked by the spirit of the forest, a threatening lightning storm, or being chased by the big bad wolf, a nod to the ride Verbolten replaced. After a drop track, you launch out of the Black Forest and finish your wild ride with an 88-foot drop over the river, winding back to the garage to finish your ride. That's all for the best themed coasters in America. Again, I'm leaving out Disney and Universal. If those were included, rides like Hagrid's Motorbike Adventure and Expedition Everest would top this list. Not even to mention Cosmic Rewind, Big Thunder Mountain, and Slinky Dog Dash. It's just in a different league, so I wanted to separate them and find some of the better themed coasters outside of those 2 chains. As you can see, it's not great, but sometimes these parks do try and it pays off. Let me know which American coasters have your favorite theme, and what your overall favorite theme coaster is, no matter where it is. If you enjoyed this video, please drop a like, and if you're new here and love videos like this, please give me a sub. Also, check out my links below for my Discord server, and my second channel where I post copyright-free off-ride footage, and my baseball channel if you also happen to be a baseball fan. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.